Well, Sanofi engaged me to be a spokesperson to raise awareness around the importance of early screening for type 1 diabetes. Obviously, that's the main reason why I'm here. But um, the other is my real world experience. Having a child that lives with type 1 diabetes and being a parent who could have reaped the benefits had I been able to detect it earlier is part of what I want to engage the world in helping them understand that that option is available for them. The other is sharing my story, my perspective, my opinion, and my consideration for those people who are about to embark on this journey, this experience that I couldn't have been prepared for. Even if I'd been given more than enough information, it still comes with a daily reset, a daily kind of reacclimation of whatever the challenge is for that moment, especially dealing with an infant. So being able to share that in consideration of the with consideration of the people who have to live with this disorder, and also to being able to be a cautionary measure that could be taken to begin to prepare people for that. There were things that happened that made me at least aware that something wasn't right. My son was a bit lethargic. He was urinating a lot. He be, there were incidents where his energy was extremely low, and those were all kind of telltale signs that I needed to go to a physician and at least try and figure out what was going on with my child, of which I would then be made aware that at 6 years old, my child was T1D. No, there had not been any type 1 diabetics in my family. There were type 2 diabetics in my family, my grandmother, and a host of other people of whom, I kind of watched and experienced in different families. It was kind of almost like a thing that you would come to recognize and realize would eventually happen in Black families. But having some experience and knowing that insulin was necessary to remedy high blood glucose levels. I didn't even know it was called a blood glucose levels. I just knew it was called sugar. And the idea of drawing insulin for my grandmother when I would spend time with her at her home, begin, and also to prick her finger, that those were all things that began to help me understand what it was to deal with it, but never with an infant. I never even knew that it was possible. And that education, that preparation was something that had I known, I probably wouldn't have felt blindsided. It probably would have helped me to better ease my child into the process to begin to help any indication or idea of shame not be something because there's an idea of comparison when you're kids, right? When you just want to go out and eat what you want to eat and do what you want to do and not have to be mindful of blood glucose levels or any of those things, ketones, or any of these terms that I knew nothing of. Um, if I'd had access to early screening, I may have been prepared better. And then once, Sanofi, piqued interest and was engaging me in being a spokesperson, that dynamic of understanding that there is a community as well as access to information, for people who, may, question, does my child have type 1 diabetes? They can go to, the pledge, the onepledge.com in order to get information about it. But these are activating places to begin to help families who will have to live with type 1 diabetes feel a little bit more prepared. I mean, I kind of live my life as an open book as an entertainer, but this was something that was very personal to my family, And it was a conscious choice of which, I wanted to make certain that my child would not feel as though I was invading um, his privacy. But, when explained that, sometimes, a disorder could be of advantage to someone else, and there's a positive light at the end of this tunnel. You know, if I were to just put it simple, I'm working on a plan to, make type 1 diabetes less of something that should be represented and worn as shame. I don't want to share this. I don't want people to know about this. I don't want, it makes me feel abnormal. I don't feel comfortable. So breaking these barriers, being able to share my story, even though I don't live with diabetes, I do live with diabetes. There's not a waking moment. There's not a day that I'm not thinking about my child and making certain that he is okay and that he is healthy and that his choices and decisions it's going to help to having a very healthy life. But I just felt like I could be helpful. I felt like this is a cause worth my time, and also to me being able to share my story, because sometimes, reference and being able to know that there are other people who are going through what you're going through. If I'm able to share that and without shame, then hopefully it'll make you feel more comfortable to let you know that you're not alone. It'll let you know that there is an entire host of people who are trying to help and support you. Yeah, well, it's not normal. And the idea that a child is drawing the comparison between the lifestyle that other children live and the fact that he or she has to become a lot more responsible and engaged and not just live freely. Um, this is what sometimes causes the idea that there's not a balance. There is. It's just a very specific you know approach to life. And then there's the dynamic that is out of any of our control, which is the negative opinion of people who don't understand what type 1 diabetes is. It is not something that should be worn in a shameful way. So this educational process is not just for families and people who live with type 1 diabetes. If people want to understand and engage and understand, um, and hopefully have some empathy by way of educating themselves, if you go to thepledge.com, the one pledge, I keep saying it wrong, sorry, the onepledge.com, one will begin to help you understand what it is to be around people who live with type 1 diabetes, who have lived with type 1 diabetes. But that idea that a child is trying to have some sense of normalcy in comparison to people who don't live with diabetes, it does cause a bit of shame. I don't want to feel as though I'm giving some sort of special treatment. I don't want to feel like I'm hassling someone or I'm an inconvenience. What if I'm too high? What if I'm not paying attention and I'm just having fun? All of that type of anxiety. It's hard enough, to live within the world that we live with. That type of anxiety is something that no one wishes on a child, let alone a person. So I wanted to offer what I possibly could to open up this conversation and give people the opportunity to be able to talk freely about it. I have a teenager. He's driving me fucking crazy. What do you mean? But but on the other side of it, he's a beautiful soul, and he's doing his best. And every day that's all I ask. I ask that he be mindful. I ask that he be mindful of his health long term. But living with type 1 diabetes comes with its own set of challenges, and the older a child gets, sometimes the easier it gets. In certain cases, the harder it gets because they're attempting to search for personal identity. And dealing with teenagers, if you have one, then you understand what I say or what I mean when I say he's driving me crazy.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
that is probably the gift that came with having children when they reach a certain age. On top of the fact that we have to be mindful of his blood glucose levels. I drive him crazy every time I walk in the house. What is your blood glucose level, son, right now? And that's just the reality of what our relationship is, but it doesn't stop there. It's fun. There are moments, there are tender moments that we have together. He has a huge heart. And I do feel like this work is going to support him and support a lot of other people who are living with this disorder.
Well, Mr. Raymond, again, thank you so much for taking time to share your story and to talk about this important issue.
It is my pleasure. I'm hoping that in everything that we are attempting to do, not only with Sanofi, but the future and information that you can share, with regards to BT1, beyond type 1 diabetes, and all the work that we're attempting to do. We just really want to, as I said, open the conversation and get the type of support that I think is needed.